ICE says, can you hang on to them so we can come and do an investigation and identify who they are? They then sue. You have no right to detain us. Our constitutional rights are being violated. You're an illegal alien who's in custody for an allegation of a crime, and you shouldn't even be here in the first place because you broke the law. You're here illegally. Yeah, but my rights.
The assault against federal law enforcement, they've largely been silent except for Brandon Johnson. We just saw him.
They should, but they won't because they're allies in this. Illegal aliens now win $112 million because of their due process rights. Of course, they shouldn't have been in our country at all. They were, many of them, arrested and held in custody for allegations of committing crimes. Then they got together. They got some organization to come out and file a lawsuit on their behalf. And then, of course, they win $112 million of taxpayer money that should not be going to them because they should not have even been in our country. Now they're crying and exploiting our Constitution, just like if you invited somebody into your house and then they turned around and stole all of your food in your refrigerator. It's like, that's not very polite. So more than 600 immigrants, they call them, who were all wanted by ICE, so we can presume that there's a question about their legal status in our country. They will be awarded $112 million. Okay, 600 people, do the math. Federal judge ruled they were unlawfully detained by ICE, according to court documents. And we've talked about this before. It's just an ICE detainer request. These people have been picked up by local cops. ICE says, can you hang on to them so we can come and do an investigation and identify who they are? They then sue. You have no right to detain us. Our constitutional rights are being violated. You're an illegal alien who's in custody for an allegation of a crime, and you shouldn't even be here in the first place because you broke the law. You're here illegally. Yeah, but my rights. Okay. Suffolk County and Suffolk County Sheriff's Office were determined to be financially liable for violating the constitutional rights of 674 people who were held in county jails even after posting their bail or resolving their case. So they go in, they are in custody for doing something, DUI, domestic violence, drugs, urinating in public, pick one. They post a bond, but the jail says, you're illegal. ICE is doing a sweep. ICE says, hang on to them, okay, for like 48 hours so we can come out, process this person, and get them out of here. They said that area of time is an unlawful detention for illegal aliens. This decision brings long overdue accountability, says Jose Perez, Deputy General Counsel at Latino Justice, PRLDEF, which represented them. Ruling comes after a 34-year-old Long Island resident and an immigrant, probably an illegal, just guessing, from Guatemala. He sued. He said, so what if I committed a crime at the state level? I bonded out. My cousin paid $1,000 bail to get him out. And he was never informed that his bail had been paid and he was transferred and later taken, right? So it's like kind of overlapping jurisdiction. Federal judge said he had been seriously injured. Why? Loss of liberty, emotional distress, great humiliation, and more. And of course, this pathetic article doesn't want to tell us the legal status of these people because we can presume that they were illegal. That's why ICE wanted them in the first place. So $112 million going to 674 immigrants. They're celebrating this over there. They say the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office is now going to be drained and responsible for $100 million plus to illegal foreign invaders who committed crimes and then sued about it. This decision brings long overdue accountability. This case was brought by them. The verdict was in a week-long trial, and a judge who was an Obama judge, this guy right over here, he was presiding over it, appointed by Obama, and verdict comes down, $112 million. The court's order will require the county is going to lose $100 million of taxpayer funds going to illegal aliens who committed crimes, allegedly, to compensate the affected class members. Then the whole message is, again, in Spanish. This is the organization, Latino Justice. How about justice for Americans who don't want illegal aliens in our country, committing crimes and then suing and stealing, in my opinion, $112 million from the people of Suffolk County? It's ridiculous. Absolutely insane. It's happening in our country. It's suicidal to allow this to continue to happen, but that's what's going on. We also are saluting our veterans who are continuing to make arrests. More than 7,500 veterans now serving back as ICE agents. Interesting how, they don't get any money for doing their patriotic duty, but no, the illegal aliens are going to get $100 million. Says here, the Department of Homeland Security honored the thousands of veterans, and Tricia McLaughlin said that they are out there doing amazing work. But these court cases and these trials are being commandeered by the judges. The judges are helping to rig the verdicts to destroy cities, destroy counties, destroy states who would dare to remove these illegal alien invaders who are in violation of the law by existing in our country illegally. Biden appointed judge is now poised, they say from ABC 7 Chicago, on whether Either he's going to release a bunch of people who've already been picked up, saying, sorry, ICE can't enforce the law. I can. Federal judge saying he's going to be investigating it. Last month, he determined that federal agents had breached a consent decree, which is another scam mechanism by which our government is commandeered. You have third parties who are friendly with blue secretaries of state. They sue them. They enter into a settlement agreement. The blue courts enter those, and then a third party binds the secretary of state, for example, to do something, which is what we saw in COVID and other elections. And it's a total scam, obviously. That's not governance by the people. It's governance by decree. So we have Trisha McLaughlin. She was out talking on with Fox News about some of this, and here is what she said.
Alien from Mexico. This investigation is ongoing, so there's only so many details that DHS can provide right now, but we know he illegally entered the country. He has a past rap sheet within the United States for felony possession of a firearm, as well as illegal and unlawful use of a vehicle. But more details are going to come. This is not the only incident we saw out of Chicago this last week, and we also saw rampant crime and rampant violence against our law enforcement. There were mobs throwing bricks at our law enforcement vehicles, throwing paint cans, otherwise assaulting law enforcement. And yet, where were J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brand Johnson? Shouldn't they be condemning the assault against federal law enforcement?
No.
They've largely been silent, except for Brandon Johnson. We just saw him.
They should, but they won't, because they're allies in this. So if the local cops are not going to do anything about it, if the local governor, local attorney generals are not doing anything, what is left?
On X just a few hours ago, calling our law enforcement wicked and violent. It's really unbecoming of leaders of the city, especially when we see such unbelievable success out of Operation Midway Blitz. About 6 homicides are down in that city, 16% since this operation started. Carjackings are down 78%, and transit crime is down 20%. So I think that the words that J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson are missing are thank you to law enforcement.
Wow. Trisha, Greg Bovino first responded to this incident right here on America Reports yesterday, and he said this on the individual and his arrest. Listen.
This individual should have never been walking the streets of Chicago. This individual should not have been in this country. So the fact that he has re-violated again and still has a firearm, I'll tell you what, that's very concerning to us in law enforcement, especially in light of the fact that the Latin Kings have put an additional hit out on federal law enforcement.
Okay, so obviously he's making the case that this is somebody who should have never been free to walk about or carry out such a dangerous crime against another individual. Here's Laura Ingraham last night asking President Trump her interview with the president, his message to the mayor of that city, Brandon Johnson, after he called on the UN to investigate this immigration crackdown in his city. Listen here.
Well, look, number one, he's got a 4% approval rating. You have people in Chicago, beautiful black women wearing a MAGA hat, red MAGA hat. Please come, Mr. Trump, President. They call me president. They call me Mr. They can call me whatever they want. Please come, President Trump. Please come. They're begging us to come.
But now the Chicago Tribune is reporting that Greg Bovino, the top official for the Trump administration leading the efforts on the ground there, may be departing. Here's the headline. Federal Border Patrol Chief Bovino and agents said to be leaving Chicago, according to sources. Can you add to anything that any of the reporting that we're seeing here? Are these agents planning on leaving?
DHS law enforcement is here to stay in Chicago. We've seen fantastic results. The arrest of about 5,000 illegal aliens, 70% of which are past criminal convictions or pending criminal charges against them. And as the president said, we're really delivering results. And when Secretary Noem has been on the ground almost a dozen times in Chicago, every single time when she's on these operations, she sees the men and women in these communities thanking our law enforcement for what they're doing, because they're finally, their voices being heard. They have their freedom back and their safety. And that's exactly what the American people voted for in the 2024 election, and exactly what the men and women of law enforcement are bringing to American communities.
Okay, so
yeah,
just
this is going to be interesting to see whether DHS is pushed out, almost like this is a territorial conflict. DHS goes into Chicago, the counter forces, the revolutionaries respond, push them out, and around we go. Almost like it's a civil conflict. Some might call it a war, but we wouldn't do that.